Hey guys, Coach Angela here. In this video, we're going to go through a down and dirty look at macronutrients and what makes up the food we put into our bodies, why we track food, why it's important to look at those things, because it can influence what's going on in the gym and how we can get the most out of that. So what is food made of? It's made of micronutrients, which is carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Micronutrients, the most important of which is vitamins and minerals, and then water and fluid. In this video, we're going to look at macronutrients. These affect our bodies in many ways. They affect our ability to digest food and absorb nutrients. They affect our hormone production, our immune system health, and of course our body composition and our metabolic function, along with other things. First, we're going to look at carbohydrates. So carbs, in the simplest form, is broken down into glucose, and we need glucose to live. Our brain thrives off of glucose. We move about 20 grams of glucose per hour through our bloodstream. And if blood sugar is too high, after both the liver and the muscle have stored everything that it can via glucose, the body will oxidize more glucose and less dietary fat, meaning it will utilize that glucose for immediate energy instead of dietary fat, leading to more of the fat that we eat being stored as body fat. Also, we want to look at the glycemic index of foods. So high glycemic index is things like candy or simple sugars and stuff like that, where more low glycemic foods are complex whole grains, they're legumes, and some vegetables. Also like to talk about insulin here. So insulin and glucose go hand in hand. When there is a lot of glucose in the blood, our body releases a hormone, which is insulin, to help us uptake that and store it properly and use it properly. If that balance is not balanced, then we end up with health conditions like diabetes, where insulin has to be supplemented to make our body utilize glucose correctly. With carbs, we want to get a complex carb variety from whole food sources. So fruits, root vegetables, whole grains, beans, and legumes are the best choices. Not saying that you have to eat those and only those, but those are definitely going to be utilized by the body a lot better than the high glycemic foods or more processed foods. Next, we'll look at fats. So fats tend to be vilified in most nutrition literature, especially mainstream media nutrition literature. Now, there are three kinds of fats: saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats. We want to get a balance of all three from whole non-processed foods, and I have some listed here. So butters, coconut oils, animal fats. So saturated animal fats are going to be like your red meats, have fat built into that. Pork, of course, steaks, stuff like that. Monounsaturated fats are your avocados, your egg yolks, your olive oils. Once again, animal fat. So this is more of your poultry. So your duck, your chicken, etc. Turkey. Well, granted, turkey is a very lean meat, so it does have some fat, but not a lot. And then our polyunsaturated fats, which some of our seeds will have that in there as well. Once again, we want to balance from all three of these to provide the energy, balance the hormones, and do essential things in our body. So fat is essential, but it is the most dense macronutrient. So you'll notice when you're tracking, that will be the lowest number. So of all the grams you're eating, that'll be always the lowest because it is the most dense. Proteins. So proteins are, there's always a question about protein, especially when you're doing any sort of movement associated with it. The smallest form of protein is amino acids, and these are grouped together to become protein structures. We make 12 amino acids within our bodies, but there's 8 that we need to get from our food and our diet. And that's why getting protein in your diet is essential to living life, but especially when you're weight training or strength training or doing anything in the gym, even conditioning training, because we're moving our muscles and breaking down our muscles. So our body extracts amino acids from our plasma to synthesize muscle proteins, skeletal and connective tissues, and a couple of other cool things. But with movement, we're actually breaking our muscles down and beating them up. And consuming protein and amino acids allows those muscles to rebuild themselves and essentially come back stronger each time. So protein is very important when we're talking about what we're going to get out of the gym. So no macronutrient is more important than the other, and they each perform an essential task within our bodies. So I just want to leave you with the thought that every body is unique and nutrition is not an exact science. So as we're asking you to track your macros, we're going to be giving you advice based on what we see and what your individual goals are, and then of course what the InBody reading has based on your basal metabolic rate, because those things all go into it. The next video we'll talk about our metabolism and how different forms of movement utilize different energy stores, and that's where a lot of these macronutrients will come back into it. All right, guys, hope this at least gives you some knowledge. I always like to know like the why behind things, and there is a reason why our body breaks down different nutrients and what we get out of it. So have a great night, have a great day, and I will see you on the floor. Bye.